My amazing Librans, welcome into a general weekly reading for you. I just heard the overall message for you, a powerful message of sit back in your Libran throne. I really do feel as if there's victory being focused upon for the future in regards to you leaving difficult waters behind, or maybe even for somebody about leaving behind certain levels or one level of comfort for you individually in order to make space, room for something more meant to be at this point in your life along your path. So future change and development is absolutely on the mind, being focused upon and being supported when it comes to your efforts of importance. Now, the Magician coming out to begin your reading because it's as if you more so easily manifest when you don't overdo it, right? And that could speak upon overdoing it at times when it comes to a habit or two, when it comes to somebody that's overthinking or maybe consumption. But you do a better job at manifesting in a very easy and effortless way when you just simplify it, right? It's as if you could develop this grand, very detailed vision, but you don't need to. It's this feeling of you at this point along your path getting a push from spirit through this reading and other ways of communicating and reminding that you need to just give it a kind of a vague believing and focusing upon speaking it into existence as well, and then let the details and otherwise just kind of come to be purposely, because I do feel as if you're needing to remember there is so much purpose along your path, even when it doesn't feel like it, even when you can't remember that in the moment, or it just feels like it's too difficult, right? In certain ways and different levels. Just because your path has been imperfect doesn't mean it lacks that purpose. Wow, that card was stuck on my pinky. And it is the Four of Swords in reverse, flopping onto the ground, where things have felt difficult, where things have felt, excuse me, let me reword that, where you have felt a lack of protection, being the Four of Swords in reverse, flowing to the ground. And it felt very smooth in the way it was getting away from me, because it's almost Spirit's interesting way of visualizing or just giving you the message of we're churning that wholeheartedly 1000% in the upright, and you will now feel more protected than ever, okay? Because for far too long, even if it's come and gone, you have felt, again, this lack of protection and just iffy about what lies ahead. And so we're going to be instilling confidence within you and helping you greatly. But these four cards, very interesting, pairing together 2 and 2. The Nine of Swords and the Two of Cups. There's something about your connection to yourself stressing you out at times. There's something about a difficult spiritual connection for somebody, even if that's, say, somebody in your physical reality, and that's a spiritual connection. Could be a connection between you, or it shouldn't be labeled as a connection per se, the presence of a spirit, okay? So apply it as you may, but the stresses of certain past connections, or the past within, when it came to a current existing connection, truly taking a highlight this week for a sake of preparation, and to remind you that what's meant to continue is going to continue. What's meant to end and begin, again, having such a purposeful path for yourself, it's just simply going to come to be, right? Things are not going to feel difficult anymore. I feel very much a sense of importance when giving you that message. And for some, it's a reminder more so, or it could be both. But it just feels like it's this week that shows you, and maybe even again reminds you more so, that at times you trust in this in your life, right? But then you question this. You trust in this coming to be and changing in your favor to your world's advantage. But then a certain factor or two outside of you, or maybe an obstacle or difficulty you deal with, pushes you to separate yourself from that belief, that trust in how things are meant to work out. But Spirit is saying you're going to do yourself disjustice, being somebody who represents that card and energy, by not holding on to in a light and trusting way to that belief, okay? That knowing, if you will. But the Four of Cups, the Seven of Wands, and the Judgment card, we'll get back to the other two cards that I was holding up, because they want to transition to these energies. When you had to release somebody or something from your life, or it just was a tower moment where you did not feel fully or at all in control in regards to it, didn't it leave things better off for you in the end? Even if you at times try to glorify or doubt this, it absolutely left you in a state of more benefit, I want to say more peace, and less difficulty. And so sometimes it's easier to, I want to say for this collective, to focus on how it made things a little off, difficult, or delayed, or lacking, when in reality, the pros of that ending, that stripping away, if you will, making room, is another way to put it, do and have outweighed the negatives, the cons. But don't overdo it when focusing upon that. But I feel like it's Spirit's way of adjusting your perspective for the sake of preparation for all that lies ahead. Because I wouldn't be surprised if you're on the brink. If they're saying around the corner lies a brand new chapter for you. I would maybe watch the daily read that I'm about to post right before this one, and you may find there is some correlation between the two, because they're feeling at least partially similar. Now, I do also feel like the sign of Leo and Gemini coming into play, maybe even Scorpio and Virgo as well. And this could be past energy and or currently, or the potential of something of importance for your bright Libran future. Going back to this, there's confidence within you, but then there's a shaky voice that isn't your fault. There's disappointment along your path that you need to heal from, okay? You need to heal that disappointment inside of you, or maybe what feels like a partially, if not fully broken feeling within, or healing that lost version of yourself in order to find yourself, if that makes sense. And I know that almost sounds like the wrong way to go about it, but they're saying you will find this process coming to be quite easily in such a beautiful, light, and healing way throughout this week period, and maybe even surrounding it for some. But again, they're saying pairing the Hierophant at the bottom of the deck with the Magician, things are changing for you, and they're going to even more so change again when it comes to a new chapter on the horizon. You want more at hand than you have, but then you want less of this and that at hand that you do have. But they're saying it isn't exactly the right time for things to fully switch up and come and go. But it is a time for you where you're being prepared, getting ready, and needing to be completely honest with yourself in regards to making this next chapter super, super successful, and an easy transition, easy continuing and developing of which. Where you have stressed out about your future, I feel as if Spirit's saying this is a time to knock that out, okay? As in one, if not multiple other ways, you're knocking it out of the park, being very skilled, on point, and hardworking. But yeah, look at this. Not surprised with the Three of Wands coming out, because you're looking forward. It's at times, again, where you question what you know or hope or wonder lies ahead. But those question marks will not be favoring you, especially throughout this week period. So just take a deep breath, if need be, realign your focus, and allow for your path to proceed exactly as it's purposely meant to. But I'm not surprised as well to see the Wheel of Fortune coming out, because Libra, it's a week where you're going to be seeing evidence that you know what you're doing more than you are given and give yourself credit for, right? Nobody's perfect is now what I'm hearing, but I do feel like all the meanwhile, taking a moment to, again, if need be, realign your focus, but to, in a very grateful and, I'm hearing, precious way, notice and appreciate, focus upon the evidence of how things are working out for you now. And this will, in such a beautiful way, support what's about to develop and change for you, even if it's in a different area of your life moving forward. Now, what do you wish to see differently with what is about to end for you? I'm getting that specifically for somebody drawn to the reading. Don't be surprised if it comes to be, right? Even though I feel it's not going to make the world of a difference. Now, as well, I'm getting the message of energy being significant throughout this week period. Now, recently where I've been staying in this house, I do love it here. Don't get me wrong. It has its timestamp for when it's going to come to an end for me. But it's as if recently there were energies staying here who, and even one still, but he's not here that much, or doesn't affect things that much at this point. Nervous, even sketchy, right? I mean, I do live in California and I get that, but it was just, I needed, especially this one sketchy individual, to leave. And that did end up happening, right? I don't know that I personally manifested. I think it was just meant to come to an end, or he didn't have enough money to continue it. But nowadays, okay, currently, although again, one of which, because there are 4 bedrooms down here on this floor in this part of the house, because it's huge, there is still that nervous energy, right? And he wears his headphones while he's cooking and he's loud when doing so. But putting that aside, there's 2 other guys staying in the other room. Although I feel one of which isn't the nicest individual in the world, he actually has very peaceful energy. And then the other one introduced himself to me and was super, I feel like a bit depressed, but this house actually draws in people who need to heal. Feeling like that's part of the reason I ended up coming back here and came here to begin with the first time around. But he was super nice and chill. And I really felt it was him specifically, the one who introduced himself. Walked by several times yesterday in the middle of me doing my daily read, and that's typically when I'll pause and then start recording again and pick up where I left off. And it didn't make me nervous. Typically that makes me nervous. I'm sorry if this is too long of a story, but typically when people walk by, I get nervous. And they're saying that's an excellent sign when somebody in your life doesn't disturb things in a nervous or twitching is what I'm getting, or uncomfortable, alerting manner, okay? And this is not only going to speak to you and remind you of the importance of energies you keep in your life, but ones that you stick with and, join or even allow into your world moving forward, okay? And also I feel like there's a beginning of a situation for some Librans drawn to the reading, whether it's work, it could be a relationship, it feels more with multiple people in it. Besides yourself, it could be a residential situation, a house or an apartment of some sort. I'm hearing townhouse, where people don't have bad energy there. You may not feel a huge amount of commonality, at least not yet within that situation between you and those people or that person, but it's meant to be. And the energy was a huge part of Spirit's choice to align you with that situation. 1310, look up the ancient number meaning. I want to pull one final card to wrap this up. They're saying the Queen of Wands is coming out to wrap up this reading, or begin to, because you are passionate. You're affecting things for the better, but at times when you know you're doing what you shouldn't, in order to, and therefore affecting things negatively, even if you can't see evidence of that in the moment, just cut it out, okay? Have some self-discipline, if you will, and put your foot on the brake. But you also are going to find there's a focus on influencing, right? Other people influencing, but you being the Queen of Wands throughout the week, more so the Magician, but you get the point. I'm getting from the candles, you're influencing people and the light that lies within them, okay? Even the unhealed aspect of them that lies within them, as I feel it's a week once again where you're being pushed to initiate and continue certain levels of healing to support your bright future, this next chapter that you are absolutely manifesting and co-creating in such a powerful and magical way. All right, so I hope this was truly helpful. Absolutely don't forget to book a personal reading with myself. Everything is down below. I will see you next time. Love and light, Libra.